Hey there, my friend's Paki Morgado here, and I want to thank you for stopping by to check out one of my other interviews. And today I have my college roommate, my good friend. We've been friends for a long time. Also played football together. And the reason why I wanted to have him on this interview was because, growing up playing football, a lot of life lessons that we learn on the football field applies to business. And I have an internet business where I consult people, I coach people in um, moving from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset, which is totally different. And I think a lot of the lessons that we learn on the field um, is directly related to being in business.
Yeah.
You have a lot of obstacles you gotta face. You gotta prepare. You gotta practice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things we do online is a lot of testing, and we see what works and what doesn't work. Just like when we're defending an offense, or if you're blocking a defense and,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get plays to work. So the reason I asked Doug here was because he has been involved with Linfield College, our college that we went to, and he has been a big part of the long-term success that our football team has had over the years. So from Pro City, Hawaii,
Yeah.
and now in Salem, Oregon, and assistant athletic director.
Yeah. So my official title is assistant athletic director, associate head football coach, and then I'm the athletic facilities director. So I have
Many hats.
several hats.
And helmets.
Stay pretty busy. But yeah, this is my 17th year at Linfield. So graduated from Linfield. I coached high school and taught high school for 10 and a half years, and then made the transition back to Linfield after Wes Swan, who was in my position,
Uh-huh.
went back to Hawaii to coach with June Jones, and then of course went to SMU. So, but yeah, this is the start of my 17th year.
So tell us a little bit about the success of Linfield, the history of the success here for football.
Well, we just at the end of the season, the conclusion of the season, we held the current consecutive winning streaks for consecutive winning seasons.
Uh-huh.
So after the fifth game this year, we hit the 60-year mark.
60
So we're
years
winning
of
consecutive winning seasons.
Yeah.
So there's no program in America in any division that has won more games consistently than we have here at
In
Linfield.
any division
Any division
in the nation.
in the nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a success story right there. I mean, it's just to maintain
Consistency.
that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's huge.
And there were times during that 60 years, that probably when you were playing,
Yeah. We
when
came close.
that streak was in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And you had to have some big games at the
Yeah,
end of the
yeah.
season to keep that streak going.
Right. I think my junior year.
It was. Lewis and Clark, I think you guys had to win, or
Yeah, I forget.
well, we had a slow start
Yeah.
because
yeah.
you guys started.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys.
Yeah.
And I think it was Joe Brim that brought it up and said, "The win streak, we don't win, we lose the
Right.
streak."
yeah.
So
And the thing is, my freshman year, '86, we had won the national championship.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, we're barely getting by.
Yeah.
Which is an example of highs and lows.
Yeah.
But to stay in that median, not get too infatuated with being a winner.
Yeah.
And not getting too focused on losing, but just getting to work, being consistent, doing consistent actions.
Yeah. I get coaches that ask us, "How do you guys do it? How you guys been successful for so long?" There's things that we've learned really being involved in Linfield.
Mm-hmm.
In high school you have an experience, but when you get to college, when you're maturing, you're able to grasp onto some really good concepts. And being at Linfield, where winning is important, the traditions of our program, Coach Rutschman always assured that and shared with us that one of the best moves for success is in athletics. And football is a great classroom for success because of all the things that you have to deal with.
Right.
And, in our program, we believe the number one priority is development of people.
Yep.
You know, you as a person,
Yeah.
and all the attributes that will carry over that, you know, learning and being in that environment for learning that will transfer into your life. And that's our priority. And if you understand that priority in development, and the concept of learning all the skills that are involved with development, that we want that to transfer to the football field. And attention to detail, all the little things in development,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times that takes time.
So we have an online training system. We have tools that we give to people that become members of our community. We have actually give them everything they need to be successful. It's like anybody coming off the street. Say somebody comes in, buys all the pads, the helmets, everything he needs to dress himself up, all the tools to be a football player. Stepping onto the field, can that guy play a game?
I don't think so.
No. It's the person. It's not the tools.
Mm-mm.
You know, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's you to develop yourself. It's like I say, you can't give a hammer to a guy and call him a carpenter, right? You can't just give a helmet to a kid and tell him he's a football player.
Right.
It's the work that's involved, and it's the development of the person wearing the pads, wearing the helmet, or the person with the tools online to do business. You can buy everything you need,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't apply, you know, the little things.
And that's just what I've learned is having a plan and putting that plan into action. And part of that plan of action is, you know, people talk about stuff, they have dreams of stuff, but they don't do it. They don't put it into action. You know, then a lot of times the breakdown, the part where they don't succeed is poor planning.
Right.
Because if you don't have a good plan, you can't put that in action. And that's something we do in our recruiting, when our development of kids. We have a plan for each kid and how we do things. We have an order, a process. You know, you got to learn that order and that process, and you got to have priorities in how you do that. And a lot of times, what you learn is not actually on the field. All the skills that will apply on the field is developed off the field, or in your practice, or in all the little things that you do. And one thing we got to train our kids is, we're good in the football season, but how are you when you're away from the football season?
Right.
Are you putting those skills into action away from the people who are over watching them?
Yeah.
And talk about champions. The champions are the ones that train and work when no one is watching.
Right.
You know, are you doing that?
Right. So you have a plan for each kid, right? What do you do if a kid is struggling to implement the plan? You know, like you tell them, okay, this is what you got to do, and they don't. For whatever reason, they don't. How do you motivate them, or how do you inspire them? You know.
Mm-hmm. Your support group. You know, a big part of success is leadership, and you know this.
Yeah.
You know, there's leadership, and it's leadership not only by your seniors, but the people who've been in the program, your coaches, your leaders, and coaches are responsible. And we take this seriously. We tell parents the same thing, that we have to model the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have grooming policies. Coaches have to have the same grooming policies. We have language codes that we can, you know, how we conduct ourselves. We got to model that behavior. But our kids got to have a great support group. You know, one being understand the importance of academics. We don't want our kids to fail academically. Knowing that, okay, what are we doing to support our kids academically? Well, we have advisors. We have coaching advisors. We do grade checks. We allow our kids to understand the resources to get help. And then we make sure when we monitor that all year long for all their entire tenure at the college. You can't just talk about it and don't do anything.
Right.
You're not putting it into action. So we do that. And so we have coaches. We divide our young guys. Each coach has a group, and we talk about them. And we have homework for them. Schedules, calendars, planning. So again, the breakdown why kids fail academically, just like on the football field or anything, is that you don't plan. So we're helping our kids have a structure, a plan. So we see weekly calendars. What are you doing every single day? Every hour, what are you doing? You got to have a plan. You got to put that all down. And then you got to stick with your plan.
Yeah. It's so amazing. It's amazing how all of what you're saying is exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
You know, and people sometimes fail. But the thing is, we're not with them all the time.
Yeah.
You know, we're grown-ups now. We're not kids
Yeah.
at a school on a football team. We are bringing, people are joining us, and a lot of times they're on their own.
Yeah.
And they don't apply exactly what you said, although we're giving them everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, accountability is huge.
You know, accountability is
Yeah.
huge, and that's a fine line too with accountability. You know, because you wanna hold people accountable, but you want them to be accountable for themselves as well.
Right.
And the
Right.
ones that hold themselves accountable are the ones that be really successful in any venue. Because you got a plan and you got to be accountable for everything that you're doing, no matter where. It could be your family, your job, your own health.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the structure of what your lifestyle, the quality of life you want. You got to have that. And there's no different even in the part of planning. You know, a lot of people lose football games. Yeah, maybe it's poor planning.
Mm.
But I think you've lost before you even played because you haven't trained and disciplined. You haven't done the things correct.
Yeah.
You know, one thing we practice. What we want to do is we know the game at times are going to have situations where it's going to be very adverse. It's
Mhm.
going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you talk about that. Well, you got to practice that. You got to put yourself in that position. So if it does occur, you know how to deal with those things. In life is you come through those obstacles all the time where it's okay. We know this is coming. It's going to be tough. How are you going to handle that? Well, you got to have a plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to practice that, those situations. And then what you want to do is to be accountable for handling that yourself. You know, it's more self-intrinsic type of motivation versus a coach yelling and screaming at you. We don't do that in our program. Why? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's talk, it's focus. You don't have to swear and cuss to
Mhm.
motivate.
Right.
But I think a lot of times motivation could be a look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the players know, and when the expectations, and you've done the training correctly, the expectations are high. They know what they need to do, and that's just a small part of the concept of why we've been successful. It's just all those little details.
Okay, so say you guys plan for our team, and I know the work that is involved in that from Saturday night after that game is done. Planning for the next week starts right after the game
Sunday,
ends.
yeah.
Yeah, Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so you plan all week. Okay, let's say you plan all week. You run through the other team's offense, you run through the other team's defense, and you get your plan and you get it all set, and you practice it all week long. Come game time, it doesn't work. The plan doesn't work. It's like you notice that hey, they changed. They're not exactly what we've prepared for. You know, maybe they got some little tricks up their sleeve.
Well, we get that a lot.
What do you fall back on from that point?
Well, I don't think who was it? Was it Muhammad Ali? One of the great boxers talked about you don't know till the day you're competing when you're going to get exposed, and it's your training that will expose you. So part of our training and preparation is that with our experience, we've seen the different things, and you got to know your system and how it works,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to know all the details and be able to adjust your system. So if you don't know your system, you can't make those adjustments. So we go into games where we have a whole new defense,
Right.
but we've seen the defense.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it. We prepared for that. So you make those adjustments, but you got to believe in your game plan. But we do get programs that they feel that to beat or compete with us, they got to give us something that we're not expecting. Period.
Right.
But we've seen it, and it's
Yeah.
being able to make those adjustments as soon as possible.
Right.
And see, we prepare our guys that way too.
Yeah.
So as we go through our game plan, this is what we're expecting, but this is what could happen. So as you start preparing for that, but you want to prepare for the things what you're expecting so you can practice those things. But yet again, you got to prepare for the unknowns. And we don't want our guys to be shocked. So he says, come Saturday, they could absolutely run a whole different defense. But you know what? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're going to come on the sideline, make our adjustments, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's your attitude and how you approach things too. You know, if you have an attitude of, you know, you don't know how to deal with that panic. You don't know how to deal with that adversity.
Yeah.
And that's something I want to model with my guys when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
They don't see panic in me.
Right.
They can't
Right.
because it's contagious.
Right.
The same thing with an environment where it's really exciting
Uh-huh.
can be real contagious. Enthusiasm can be contagious. But also how you handle adversity, if you're really negative, can be contagious. Because you hear a coach yelling,
Yeah.
next thing you know, you hear your players yelling.
Yeah.
If your coaches start bickering, your players start bickering.
And it just spreads.
It
It
just-
undermines.
And then all of a sudden, when you lose control,
Yeah.
you no longer can think the same.
Right.
So to be in that game is a big thinking game. When you're making adjustments, you got to be in control, and then you got to be able to think and make adjustments. And I want our players; they are the best ones for giving input as far as what they're seeing.
Uh-huh.
Now, some kids, they see the entire stadium. They have no idea because it happens so fast.
Uh-huh.
But the kids who've experienced that and know how to deal with that and keep their composure, see all the little things. This coach is the guy's lying up here and doing this.
Right. Right.
Whereas guys go, I've guys say, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I know that you can see what's in front of you, but like a linebacker has to see everything, right? Even a quarterback.
Yeah.
He knows the play, but he has to see the entire field.
Yeah.
So it's like you're still focused, but then you widen that focus, and everything it just comes with training. It comes with repetition over and over again. It comes with knowing your system.
knowing your system.
It comes with being accountable. It comes with developing yourself as a person. You know, it's all of that, knowing everything.
Yeah, and there's a trust factor.
Trust factor.
See, and part of that development is when you work with a team or a group.
Mm-hmm.
We believe this. If you got to develop that trust when you're doing a certain job, because the game of football, like in a lot of a business or whatever it may be, everyone has a part, a piece to bring everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't trust that the people who are in charge of these pieces or parts, they don't do their job, it's hard for you to do your job because you're always trying to overlook or manage what everybody else is doing, and which takes away from you being able to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of that trust. And where do you develop that trust? I think you develop that trust in how you practice during the season, prior to the season, in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you trust people more when you know them better.
Mm-hmm.
So the big part of that development is developing chemistry. So you learn your teammates better at a different level.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I know you and you do something that's goofy or uncharacteristic,
Yeah.
because you do that, I'm more forgiving because I know you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't know someone and someone does something that's uncharacteristic or weird, you start being judgmental about why they're doing stuff. But that's a big part of it too, is the training, working together, knowing your teammates, and then when you practice and somebody does something, makes a mistake,
Uh-huh.
you trust them because you know them
Yeah.
that they're not going to do that again.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big part of that too.
Yeah. And that is, for example, like you knowing somebody and how they are. That's their mean. That's their average.
Yes.
But people always oscillate, right?
Yeah.
Through excitement and depression, or good and bad,
Yeah.
or doing well, making mistakes. But that trust and that knowing of that person is that steady, again,
Yeah.
steady consistency that you know that they have.
Absolutely.
But everybody has their ups and downs.
Oh, yeah, you have this roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
different things that you can't control will affect how you respond to certain things.
Right. Right.
But if you trust someone and you know their intentions are good, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You know their
yeah.
intentions are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You believe that, okay, this will
You know
be
them
okay.
inside.
You know from
yeah.
inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's forgiving, and again, being trustworthy or trusting someone else makes you feel better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then together you can all move forward.
Yeah.
As a team. Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like I talk about modeling coaches' behavior, we got to do the same as coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how we act to respond around our players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same with any type of leadership role in a business.
Yeah.
How you respond and act around your employees.
Right.
You know, you have to be good models of behavior. Because what you want to do is have your employees be like you.
Right.
You know, like as a
Yeah,
coach, I want
yeah.
my kids, my athletes, the guys who I have direct control, to be like me.
Yeah.
You know, in the positive way.
Right.
You know, I'm not perfect by any means.
Exactly.
You know, you're not.
And you want them to know that too.
Yes, I want them
Yeah.
to know too. And I'm the first one to let them know I'm not really good at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or this is tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and just be upfront and honest.
Yeah.
And that's part of trust, is being honest.
Right.
You know, and we share that with our guys too. It's okay. You
Yeah.
gotta let your guard down.
Yeah.
As men, sometimes it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think to gain that trust, you gotta let your guard down and open up. And we
Yeah.
do that. That's something we do in the preseason.
Mhm.
We have open dialogue about certain things,
Mhm.
and we talk about it. Life lessons.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly. Everything is just so football field to life.
Mhm.
You know, ups and downs, and seeing the bigger picture.
Yes.
You know, and trust and development and accountability. All of that is.
Yeah. And see, I got into coaching because of kids.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get into coaching because of fame, fortune, money, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, so my perspective is if to develop and touch one young man that could have an impact in his life,
Yeah.
and that's what coaching should be, and we're
Right.
responsible for that.
Right.
You know, and you would hope that as a coach, employee, manager, business person, that your best interest is your employees,
Mhm.
your kids,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to see them do well.
Right.
You want to see them succeed.
Right. Like I told you last night, find a way to serve the many, and that's
Yes.
what you're doing.
Yes,
For service to many leads to greatness.
that's right.
So as a coach, you got how many guys you got on a team? How big is the roster?
We keep 135 kids.
135 kids on a football team, and there's only 99 jerseys.
And then we have doubles.
Yeah.
But if we can, some Division III programs have 200 kids.
Wow.
Mount
Wow.
Union has over 200 kids in their program.
Wow.
They have a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team.
Wow.
So you think about they're a powerhouse in Division III,
yeah.
and there's a reason for that.
And you've been coaching here 17 years.
This is the start of my 17th year.
That's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids, and you don't really know when you're going to make that impact.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
And but see, I don't keep track. I don't keep score.
Yeah.
I don't. I just keep doing my job as far as developing young guys. But I get guys who are thankful, and
Mhm.
I get that, which is great, and I
Mhm.
appreciate hearing that. But I just like seeing our kids, the kids you've touched, come in contact with, succeed.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think you've given us a lot of golden nuggets, they call.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of points, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of write it out in my blog post along with this video, so that they can see, they can read through exactly what you went through, and they'll be able to watch this video over and over again. But any last words before we close this off?
Well, I think I think it's really important as leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you set priorities and you establish these priorities. And like for us, we have our pillars of success.
Okay.
Which is team excellence, attitude, and class. And with those pillars, our foundations, we have bullet points for each one of those areas, those concepts. And we have it on paper and writing.
Can you give me a copy?
Yeah.
Then I'll put it in my post.
Yeah. And these are the things that we believe in, and these are the things that we model. And I think for you to be an established leader, you got to have those priorities, and it has to be shared, and you have to practice those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from community service to work ethic, to developing a positive attitude and how you approach life and how you do things. But you know, it has all those different concepts and ideas.
Yeah, this is going to be a great post, man.
Yeah.
I can picture already what I'm going to be doing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
So thanks, Doug.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Well,
and
all right, man.
see you guys later. Aloha.
Take care.